Quick overview on the Nixieworks Light Fighter rig. So I got this one all kitted out with the Nixieworks stuff. Both are 2 GP pouches, 2 triple mag pouches, and then obviously the butt pack that comes sewn in. So let's run through it, and then this is all kind of part of a series I've been doing on Patreon to compare like a light fighter rig type setup to chest rig and pack and you know, all that good stuff. So kind of get into it. The way I have this one set up is inboard. I have 3 mags in each of these pouches. The good thing I do like about these pouches is that you can fit them, the mags, either you know, facing, I guess, perpendicular to you or parallel to you, such as I have here. So it does fit mags either way. These are Velcro and buckle enclosures, so kind of some good and bad there. After that, I have GP pouches. So in this one, I put kind of some like quick access stuff. I put a map, notebook, Right in the Rain. I put a J-Flyer in here, just something I wouldn't normally bring, but just to kind of give you a reference on the size, I can fit a full J-Flyer in this. Power bank and cable, compass, map markers, you know. And then there's a little bit extra room to kind of throw something on top there. In this one, I have a saw, a little boo-boo kit, headlamp, 550 cord, water purifier, headlamp, and some kind of emergency fire stuff in there. This one also has a little bit more room to spare. These GP pouches are actually pretty good, and I do actually like these GP pouches quite a bit. They take up 3 columns of MOLLE as far as like the MOLLE side goes, but the actual width of them is a little bit more, probably 4 or 5. Going into the main butt pack, which is kind of like how you're going to carry everything, which is kind of the main point of the rig and also where the problem with the rig lies. I got water, 2 quarts total. This one I got a canteen cup. These can cinch down to tighten up, and you know, these bottles come out pretty easily if you have anything underneath them like a stool, and then there's not really room for the stool to fit overhead, and then you wouldn't be able to get your bottles out. But if you did have something overhead, it would help kind of contain these. It would just be more difficult to pull them out for trying to fish stuff out. Inside of here, I do like how this pocket is it's got like this lining on here to kind of keep things protected, but I have a gator, some warm gloves, work gloves, which I could store up in this pouch or this one if I wanted to. Coffee, jet foil stuff with a spoon, Swagman roll, poncho, and VS17 marking pen. Now this is not full. You can put a little bit more in here, which I've allowed for me to take off layers, put additional things that I have on me in there, and then you can also stow things under the flap. And these straps are pretty long, and then underneath it you have pretty decent sized straps to put a stool or whatever else you want to put under there. You know, warming layers, jackets, whatever, tarps, because in this case I'd use a poncho instead of a tarp, rain jacket, bivvy, anything like that. You can pretty much get all that stuff out of like an emergency shelter kit with your poncho. So I don't really like this rig, to be honest. The construction is fantastic, all the stitching is great, the you know, the intent behind the rig makes sense, kind of, but it makes sense in like a non-tactical standpoint. What I mean by this is that if you loaded this up, obviously without the mag pouches, but with some GPs and some additional stuff, and you had your pack, it would be great for a day hike, fishing, you know, even with this kind of setup, just exploring the area, doing like some route or area reconnaissance for a day, maybe like a warm weather overnighter. You could definitely make it happen. But overall, as like a main fighting rig, this doesn't really work. You can kind of add to it. So one thing that you can definitely add to help make it a little bit more user-friendly, I guess, is, or a little bit more capable, is like a Hill People Gear Heavy Recon Kit Bag. This will allow you to expand your carrying capacity, carry radios, extra mags, like fast access mags, a handgun even, whatever you want to carry, maps, you know, emergency kit. That way, if you did need to drop this, you can still have this, and you know, you have still some main bare essentials. You can keep gloves in there, so that way if you need to fish them out and use them or whatever, you can. You know, these in general are very good to use all around. My problem with this rig is that with this full setup that you see here, just for the pouches, to carry 6 mags, which is a basic combat load of 6+1 in the rifle, some GP for your normal storage, and then your kit bag, or sorry, your you know, main belt, you're already looking at close to $500. Once you start adding this, that's another 130, and then once you actually start outfitting it with your kit, that's more money. Versus if you have a chest rig and pack, you get a lot more capabilities in that. So right off the rip, you have everything quick access here, and you know, it's easy to get to, whether you're left-handed, right-handed. They're usually ambidextrous, and then you have easy to access admin GP. You can expand on the storage with wings, danglers, all that stuff. And with this, you really can't do that. With these mag pouches, you can't really tuck them. I mean, I suppose you could, but the buckle would get in the way. It wouldn't really work. So that way you are limited to using 30 round mags. 20, I suppose, but who's gonna run 20s? You can't run 40s. I doubt that a D60 would fit in here, but being able to run 40 rounders is very nice because, you know, with 3 40 rounders, you have technically 4 standard capacity magazines. So you're getting more with the usable space that you have. And then also with something like this, with everything here, it does ride nice. It's very comfortable. It's very easy to just grab and have everything, as long as you're not using that. But even then with this, I mean, if you wanted to put it all in like a one-stop shop, just grab it and go, you could tuck this under the lid, as long as you don't have this too overstuffed, either the kit bag or the butt pack, and you don't have anything that you're normally storing under the lid, such as a sleeping pad or sitting mat or whatever else. So yeah, all in all, it's comfy. That's about it. I kind of understand that they're saying, oh, you know, drop all the non-essential gear, but even with this, there's still additional things that I would like to be able to carry that I can't. So I can't really carry a radio in this rig. I guess I could throw it in a GP pouch, but then to have a push-to-talk come up, it wouldn't really be easy to use. Or like, even like a speaker mic, you're going to constantly have tension because it's going to be a bit longer. You know, as soon as you want maps or anything like that, you need to start relying on using pockets in your rig. So if you have just a hoodie on, or a hoodie and a jacket like this, you know, okay, yeah, you can store a notebook in your pocket, but you start to take away from the actual functionality of like a fighting setup. That's why I see a lot of people that run belt kits also run smocks. I'm also not a fan of, because then you're taking a field shirt, you're making it super heavy, both in the weight of the fabric and all the crap in the pockets. And you know, it's kind of like a weird thing. Like, everybody that is super pro smock is like, look how much stuff I can carry, and it's like, but you're using this, which is designed to drop, which you don't need. I don't really get it. The other thing with this is that this pack here is a Crye AVS 1000. So it's a 1,000 cubic inch, roughly about 20 liter pack. This is advertised as 15 liters. Granted, you can stow things underneath on top, which you can't really do on this. You can, but it's difficult. But anyway, with this pack, I can fit everything in here and both GPs, minus the stuff I'd want to have quickly accessible on my chest. And this pack is pretty small, and all in all, this pack itself is a little pricey, but if you had something like a Mayflower 48 or a similarly sized 20 liter pack, you can get a lot more out of it, because if you are going to assault an objective, or if you take contact, you can drop your pack, and then you don't have your sleep gear, rain gear, everything else that you don't need at that moment, and then after the fight you can go back and retrieve it and leave it there. If you're assaulting an objective, you will generally have an objective rally point, where you'll stow everything, make your last final arrangements, and then go hit the objective. This can be dropped, and then I don't have this, and I am technically a light fighter if I don't have extra gear on, you know what I mean? So I don't know, it's just kind of funny. With the chest rig, so this is a Haley heavy rig, and on the Patreon post, which the Patreon posts regarding this are all free, and I'll include a link in the description. But with this Haley rig, I put some Crye, the MBITR pouch wings on it, and so this allows me to carry 4 mags, 5.6, and I can either carry 7.8 or I can carry radio. And this is going to sit right here where the radio is, where I want it to be, not back here, kind of routed all weird. On top of this, I have an Axl sandwich bag in here, so I can stow maps, chem lights, anything quick access that's smaller, or a notebook like I had in there, right in the rain. And then you get these GP pockets here and here, which are, I don't know, their usefulness can be debated. And then these pistol pockets right here that I see most people just carry a flashlight and a multi-tool in. I normally don't even use them. So, but right off the rip, you carry 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mags if you wanted to, and still have other quick access items if you don't have a field shirt or combat shirt that has shoulder pockets, or you don't have a garment with all those additional pockets that's on the top. The other thing that you can do with a setup like this is you can add a belt. So I understand at this point, the purpose of the light fighter rig is to ditch additional weight, but with all this stuff sort of spread load across your body, it's a little bit easier to manage and maintain, and all this stuff is fairly low profile stuff to where it's not gonna get snagged, caught, whereas this is a very bulky setup. So with this, I keep 3 pistol mags, rifle, reload, and a JSTA, which I keep normally land nav gear and like gloves and stuff in there. I have a really small dump that I use honestly mostly for water bottles and stuff like that. But if you find good you know, birch bark or tinder or anything like that you need to use later on for a fire and like a more bushcrafty type scenario, or something that you're going to be doing stuff like that, you have something like this as like a possibles pouch. I have an IFAK on here, which I can't really carry a full IFAK in this, especially not one that's accessible with both arms like the Roll 1. I have my fixed blade on here that I can remove and put wherever else that I want to because it's on a blade tech. This is a boxer blades knife, and then I have a handgun holster. So in this case, I have another sidearm that I can use for close quarters or anything like that. So if you're in a shelter or you know, whatever, or if your main rifle goes down, which I don't really expect that to ever happen, but whatever. I can carry this, or if I really wanted to, I could carry additional ammo here. I have 3 15 or 17 round mags. I can't remember which ones have what. And then another rifle pouch. So at this point, I can plus up on ammo, which I see a lot of people pushing for like a belt style rig or a belt kit style setup, because they can carry more weight and it's more comfortable. But with this, realistically, I can carry more. It's comfortable because it's spread load across my body. It's not all right here. And yeah, I understand that your hips are more load bearing than anything else, but from my experience and what I've done, I found that this overall setup is more comfortable long term. That's pretty much a quick overview of what I have in here. Mind you, like I said, everything that I put in here I can fit in my day pack that can be dropped if I want to. Let me know what you think. And all in all, the cost for this setup is roughly going to be the same cost as this setup. So you're getting the same, you know, value for your money, or you're getting the same amount of money to go toward one of these setups, whereas this is a little bit more easy to use, especially once you start entering vehicles, laying on your back, having to go underneath, you know, concertina wire, anything like that, barricades, whatever else. This is more capable than this is overall. I think that this is better suited for non-tactical stuff, like I said. Also, with a setup like this, getting reloads, getting your gun up faster, all that stuff is going to be a lot quicker with a setup like this versus having your Velcro buckle, closed flat mag pouches that have 3 mags in them. And you know, with this too, I can still drop mags that I don't need quickly put them back in my pouch once they're empty, or your dump pouch, which I don't really use it for that. But you can do that versus this. Stowing old mags is pretty difficult, and jamming 3 PMags into one of these pouches, because of all the lips on the PMags, you get where you'll pull one mag out and another one wants to come with it, whereas with this they're all separate, so you don't need to worry about that. This one has definitely worked better with Stanags, but yep, that's about it.